Now, some have asked why we even bothered to vote to leave the EU in the first place, right? Why put ourselves through the torment of arduous, never-ending negotiations with the Brussels conglomerate over abstract concepts like freedom, sovereignty and control? To me, they are fundamental, important principles for any truly democratic and free nation state. But Euroscepticism, right? Wasn't some concept dreamt up over a polling day on June 23rd, 2016. It actually goes back much further than that, before I was even put on this planet. It's an idea brought about thanks to a constant drip of European federalism actually stripping away the Union Jack varnish of what many felt were the very foundations of what it means to be British, of British life and our national identity. For those, like myself, under 40, the British imperial system included ounces, pounds, yards, miles, feet. Some of those you're no doubt naturally going to be familiar with. The imperial system actually stretches all the way back to 1824, standard across the British Empire by 1826. So it was no small thing to actually criminalise its use. That was back in 2000 when the British government adopted an EU directive into UK law that meant traders must display metric units or face criminal charges. That played a massive role in exposing the influence that Brussels bureaucrats had over British decision-making, over everyday life here in Britain. And it was actually Sunderland that would force the issue into the national conversation when the Sunderland grocer, Stephen Thorburn, had his imperial weighing scales seized by undercover trading standards officers. Mr. Thorburn was a patriot, giving his customers what they were used to and, frankly, what they wanted. They wanted a pound of bananas. They were used to shopping in such measures. It strikes me as obvious. In 2016, do you remember that image of the night? It was the woman in Sunderland, proud as punch, who was being hoisted up into the air as jubilant voters and Vote Leave activists were punching the air with glee. And if you're asking me, it's a real shame, actually, that Mr. Thorburn wasn't around to see it happen. He, sadly, died suddenly in 2004 at the age of 39. His daughter now fights for a royal pardon. He spent 3 years going through courts with the case and a criminal conviction for not converting to metric measurements. Utterly insane. He ought to receive a royal pardon. An ordinary market trader who's now being completely vindicated by our vote for Brexit. We can actually achieve the things that he actually campaigned heart and soul for back in 2000 to 2004. So while some in the media, right, are sneering and laughing at the odd, quirky British campaign to bring back pounds and ounces and the crown stamp upon a pint glass, I think it's part of our identity. It's part of our history. It's part of our culture. And I welcome, I really, really do, I welcome the return by Boris Johnson's government. If you ask me, this is the most incredible comeback since Elton John's hair transplant, right? In a week when we all rightly celebrate our selfless and longest-serving monarch for the Platinum Jubilee, it's right that we give a nod to the tradition, the history and the values of our great nation. Cheers, Boris.